Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of USO MVP Military Virtual Programming. I'm Chris Jacobs, your host. I hope you are all safe and healthy and happy. Got a great one for you today. If you're a foodie, welcoming back longtime USO friend and supporter, Chef Robert Irvine. Chef, how you doing, man?
What's up, Chris? This is exciting, man.
Great to see you again, my brother. I assume that you're still down in Florida?
Yeah, we just come off the road. We go back on the road next week, so this is great timing, and I'm excited to do this. Normally we're on the road, doing these amazing concerts and things, and hopefully we get back there soon, but this is a great alternative till then.
But Chef, tell me a little bit more about what you've been up to during quarantine. This is lasting longer than we anticipated the last time you and I chatted, probably a few months ago. So how have you been doing? I understand you said you just got back from being out on the road. What's that all about?
Yeah, we just finished 10 episodes of bringing restaurants out of COVID that closed through no fault of their own across the country, and 10 after shows, the 30-minute show after, where we look back in with the designers and the builders and things you don't see on the show because we don't have enough time. So it's kind of funny, actually. And living on a bus with 6 people. So there's 12 totals, 6 on one bus, 6 on another. Remember, social distancing, masks, but traveling the country incognito. I'm kidding. A big red bus that says Restaurant Impossible, It's kind of cool. So we've been doing that. Was at the Pentagon last week. We had the restaurant there that's doing pretty good. But really just continue to do what we do. Our restaurants are closed in Vegas. One's open in the Pentagon. One's closed in Pennsylvania. So we're just getting through like everybody else, trying to make everybody happy and do good things.
Well, that's why it's so important for you to get out on the road, because you can really relate to these restaurant owners, being a restaurant owner yourself and feeling the effects of COVID-19 and what that's doing to the economy, and in particular restaurants, because I would say they're among the hardest hit, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, they're 1% of the gross national. So, we have 11 million people that are slowly coming back. Not everybody, obviously, but slowly coming back as we figure out how do we open outside a lot more. A lot of states. It's interesting for me, Chris, because when we talk about states and their 50%, 100%, whatever their rules are, and then you go to the counties, they're completely different in each county, in each state. So whether you say you're open 100% in Phoenix, for example, if you go, 10 miles left or 10 miles right, there's a difference in the counties. So there's a lot to learn, a lot to do, but I'm going to tell you, we're going to get through it because we always do, but we'll get through it together.
We're going to get through it together. Exactly. And that's an important distinction to point out. The states and counties all have these different rules. So it's a little bit confusing, but I'm glad you're out there on the road helping people out and spreading good cheer as you always do. Robert, let me run through a few of these questions that we've got in the Q&A box, and then we're going to bring a service member in live. Mari Wolf says, love your show. How do you find the time to stay fit with your busy career, and what is your fitness routine?
It's interesting because I get up before every show. I work out. I worked out early this morning because of what we're doing now. But normally, it's one potty part a day, 45 minutes of cardio every day. I work out 7 days a week. So it will be, I did legs today. Tomorrow will be biceps and triceps, chest, et cetera, et cetera. But I have a very strict regime that I do every day. And I don't lift heavy weights. Light weights, lots of reps, and lots of movement.
Yeah, you and I are both in the maintenance phase of our lives. You're a few years older than I am.
You didn't just go there.
Well, I mean, come on, let's be real. We are both in our 50s now. I mean, look at that. I mean, come on, let's go to the gun show together. I do a high intensity interval training workout called Tabata. So you're probably familiar with that. And it's great. And it's, it only takes me 20 minutes a day. And once you get started, you're done 20 minutes later. So starting it is the hardest part. But what you said about routine, doing it every day, once you start doing it every day, it becomes part of your routine. It's easier to do.
These guys and girls know it. I mean, they get up in the morning for PT. In fact, I was just with Sergeant Major Grinston in the Pentagon the other day and told him about, hey, listen, I'll do the Army the new Army physical fitness test. I'm not worried about that. I do that every day. You know, there's some great folks that have come up with it. Now it's functional training, right? We know that we're going to use it, and which is exciting to me. But, you know, food, fitness, family, and fun. Well, if deployed, we can't take the family. We definitely get the food. We've got the fitness, and the fun you have to create.
Yeah, the fun is all in the attitude, which you exemplify in that episode too. I love when you said to them, you know, I'm having fun. Why aren't you guys having fun? So that's great.
There's something about the, you know, and all the folks watching this around the world. First of all, thank you for what you do every day. I was in the military. I if I could, I'm 55 years old in a couple of weeks, Chris. I would join back up tomorrow, and I mean that. I got the opportunity of doing television, but doing these strips and bringing a little bit of hope and fun and you know, excitement as we go around. But I had the best time in the world in the military, and look where it's got me. The training, the leadership is all I learned in the military, and I come out and I've done exactly the same in the real world. And here I am. I'm still doing it. So
you've made the most of it for sure. All right, Robert, I want to get to our first live Zoomer. It is Stephen Dork. If you would hit your button. There you are. How you doing,
hey,
Stephen? Tell us where you are and what is your question for Chef Robert Irvine?
Well, hey, appreciate you taking the time there, Chef. I'm out of Vancouver, Washington, just north of Portland, Oregon, and 20 years Navy. And so, you know, we're right there.
I appreciate it, man. Hey, Chief.
So the big question I have is, after so many years, ups and downs, I'm an empty nester now, a couple of divorces, so I'm on my own. And I have a hell of a time with trying to make just single person meals. It's like there's one cookbook out there per, you know, for every 10 or 15 that even addresses it. And right. I know, yeah, you get the people that say, hey, you know, just take the you know, 4-person or 4-serving meal and just cut it down by 4. And you just can't, because the way seasoning
always work like that. Right.
So it's like, what do you do? And I'm terrible about leftovers, so I like to make just the meal I'm going to eat.
So, you know, so you're the same as me. I don't eat leftovers. My wife and kids will eat leftovers. Not this guy. I don't care if it's cold pizza. I don't care what it is. I won't eat it. So the way in which I would say, Stephen, is to try and make, I know you're busy, but every Sunday I write down a menu for the week, you know, so I know what I'm going to buy. The really important part is when you buy the product, because you want to use it. And you heard on that show there when she's saying, oh, I don't know if I can use the same ingredients on many times. And that's what we do with menus across the board in the restaurants, in the military. At my house, I do the same thing. Is how you use those ingredients in a different way that makes it feel different, so it's not like boring eating. But it really is, think about on that Sunday, figuring out a menu for the rest of the week. You know, and it can be salmon, chicken, beef, whatever you want. Just if you can email me, you know, what you like the most, and I will make sure I give you 20 or 30, 40 recipes that you can follow. Simple stuff.
Very cool. Much appreciated, Chef.
You're welcome. Appreciate it. 20 years.
For your question, man. Thanks for zooming in. Appreciate your service. You stay safe and healthy up there. And, you know, Chef, I think your philosophy, in conjunction with another frequent USO guest, Chef Joel Gamron, who specializes in doing exactly what you were just talking about, using leftovers to make, you know, meals. So I think the two of you guys together would be really symbiotic. Good personal also.
If I ate them.
You ate them, yes, qualifier, of course. All right, I want to remind everybody zooming in that you can also, like Stephen, ask a question of Chef Robert Irvine live. Please just indicate that you would like to do so when you type in your question in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Chef, let's whip through a few more of these. Jennifer Borandi says, how many days do you typically spend at a location? I assume she means when you're shooting an episode.
So literally it's 48 hours, Jennifer, that I show up. I don't know the people. So before Smoke Bomb Grill, I didn't know where I was going till I drove up, which is kind of funny because I've been in Fort Bragg many times. But I typically don't know where I'm going restaurant wise. I know a city or a state. then I figure out when you tell me what your problems are, then the show starts. I don't know anything about families. I don't know nothing about the restaurants, and I do that on purpose so you get the real reaction to me. There is no scripting. It's just, hey, I've been to enough bases to understand what the Army wants, what the Navy wants, what the Marine Corps wants, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, normally 48 hours, no more than that. And it is real, it's intense. And when you see me get mad and the vein comes out of my neck and my forehead, you know I'm mad. Or when I'm funny, which I try to be funny with Mickey there, but she didn't find it that funny.
Well, the intent was there, and that's what's important. I find you funny, so it's landing somewhere, Chef. Angel Pavey would like to know, are there plans to visit Fort Hood in the near future? And would your team be interested in renovating an aqua pontic garden for a program under a local nonprofit that benefits the military community and is run by special needs adults by any chance?
Well, first of all, I love that idea. And what was the name of the person? I'm sorry. Angel
Pavey.
Angel. We have a foundation that I can definitely look into that, especially as it's for the military piece. So yes, is the answer. I would be interested in that.
All right. Yeah. We have another live question for you, Chef. This one is coming from Stephen Nally, who is in Pensacola at the Naval Station there. Stephen, if you could start your video for us so we can see you. There he is. Hi, Stephen. How you doing?
Doing good.
Welcome. Thanks for zooming in. What is your question for Chef?
Well, first, Chef Robert, big fan of yours. I've been watching your show for like 7+ years now. I'm a cook myself at home. My wife does not cook at all, so that's one of the I love about your show is I can get new addresses and new recipes, all that stuff. But I had a question. Right now, I'm currently in some training right now, and all I have is a microwave, some paper plates, a paring knife, cutting board, you name it, and trying to find some healthy recipes that only use a microwave is really difficult for me to find right now. So I was wondering if you had any recipes at all, or any advice to anybody else that might be tuning in here that only have a microwave to cook the food.
Stephen, first of all, Pensacola, I love it. I've been there many times. Microwavable cooking is interesting, all right? And I've done it on a bus. We've been traveling on the bus the last, 8 or whatever weeks. And I microwave on there, funnily enough, food. But I'm taking the same principles I use in an oven or on a saute pan on the grill and trying to figure out how do I use them in a microwave. It is tough, right? Because there's no heat source except from the inside out. It's not, you can't cook. You can cook steaks. I've done it. You can cook burgers and chicken, but you got to be really careful because if you leave it for 30 seconds too long, it's already like thrown against the wall and it's not very good. So all I would tend to do, and it's not going to help you much because how long are you training for?
About 2 months. So it's not too bad, but I know there's others around here that will be here for they'll be here for like 6+ months because their training goes for like 6 months to a year.
I would suggest that you get a slow cooker, one of the one-pot slow cookers, because you can do so much in that with vegetables and meat. But here's one. You can do pasta, any type of pasta in there by boiling it in a container, plastic container, and water, right? I've now just come out with bowls that are metal that are microwavable. Believe it or not, I'm the only guy to do that because my daughters are at college, so I've got a little bit of experience. So you can do the pasta. You can warm your pasta and cook your pasta in the water in the plastic. Strain it off. If you want to make carbonara, keep the pasta warm with plastic wrap over the top of the container. Once you've cooked it, got rid of the water. Then you can do microwavable bacon. You can put bacon in the microwave in a pouch. You can buy it already in the supermarket. I buy it every week because I don't like the smell of the bacon in my house. I just love the bacon. Then chop that up, throw it in the pasta, add an egg yolk to it and Parmesan cheese, and that's carbonara. I mean, and you can do that with any kind of pasta. You can do chicken. You can cook the chicken. Remember, when a chicken cooks in microwave, you've got to undercook it by about a minute. So if you take a chicken breast, season it, put it into a plastic Ziploc bag and cook it. Probably if you've got an 8-ounce breast or a 6-ounce breast, which is one that comes in the packet, right? You could probably do that in 2.5 to 3 minutes. Take it out, leave it in the bag. It's going to continue to cook. You can make potatoes, you can make vegetables all in that, and then mix that together with it. You can make hamburgers, you can do turkey burgers. Remember, when you do the turkey burger, make your patty, you know, or buy your patty, whatever, a little bit of oil on top of it, in a bag, a Ziploc bag. Why? Because you can control the cooking better. It's not going to dry out so much. Put it in there, season it, in a bag, a minute and a half with a burger, bring it out and let it rest for a minute and a half. An 8-ounce burger will be cooked probably in about 2 minutes. And again, I don't know what microwave you have, so I'm guessing right now. Okay. But in my microwave here, and I've got a little one on the counter, I can do a burger in 2 minutes, an 8-ounce burger, but it's in a bag. You microwave it for 2 minutes, then leave it for 2 minutes, because it continues to cook at the same heat outside the microwave as it does inside the microwave. Remember that. Okay. So don't try and eat something straight out the microwave. It'll burn you.
Stephen, thank you so much for your question, man. Best of luck to you and your microwave. Hope you come up with some tasty meals, man. That's very limited stuff.
Stephen, and when you do, I want you to go on Twitter and I want you to post a picture at Robert Irvine. I want to see that, and then I can go back and forth with you and I can help you a little bit more.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Stephen. Good luck with your training, man, and thank you for your service. Appreciate you zooming in here. Chef, that's great advice, and man, I mean, that's really limiting to just have a microwave. I mean, would you suggest that he gets like a couple, you know, that portable burner or something like that?
Well, you can't have them. You're not allowed to have them, and my daughter has the same thing. So, because she's in college, but you can get a crock pot, and I've got one over on the.
Yeah, there you go.
You can, you know, that you can do things in and stews and beef and chicken, all that kind of stuff. But I should have asked her because she's got all the recipes. She's 22 years old, living in a dorm. So.
Yeah, well, necessity is the mother of invention, right? All right, here's another question from the Q&A template. This is from Cindy Wachtler. She says, hello, 16-year military spouse and lifetime restaurant industry. I've been a general manager for 5+ years. Her dream is to open a restaurant when she retires from the military. Do you have any advice for a person who will be opening a restaurant later in life?
Don't do it. Well, Cindy, first of all, thank you for your service. It's really interesting. I have a lot of people that want to do restaurants, and I normally say this, and this is pre-pandemic, pandemic, by the way. Whatever you want to make in the first 6 months, revenue-wise, put it in the bank. Whatever you're going to spend to make that 6 months, put it in the bank. And have a fund for when you take over a property and the air conditioning and the refrigerator fail to replace them. And that's normally about a year of revenue, by the way. And if you've got that money, put it in there and you'll probably waste it, because most restaurants fail regardless of how long you've been running a restaurant. It really is when you come out or you leave the military space, go and work somewhere again before you decide to open a restaurant. The most profitable restaurant is breakfast, believe it or not. Breakfast from 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, wash your hands and move away with it. But I will tell you right now is a bad time in the next year and a half, I would say, to be in a restaurant, unless you've got, how do I say this, a lot of money. Because most of the franchisees of restaurants, and most of the restaurants that are failing right now, is because they can't pay the bills because they don't have seating capacity inside anymore. So remember, when you lose 50% of your seating capacity, you've got nowhere to go. So how do you bring in more revenue or the same revenue? Do you open longer to get the same revenue? Do you sell sauces, whatever? It's a tough time to be in the restaurant business now. And I think for the next year and something, I mean, my restaurant in Vegas, 275 seats, it's still not open yet. And we closed in March. And I don't foresee that coming back online till mid-September, beginning of end of September, beginning of October. So to bring, to get back up to speed, it's going to take a while. As much as I love your want to working for yourself, I would give it a little bit first and let the industry get back into where it needs to get back to before you put any money into opening a restaurant. Solid
advice, and a kind of harsh dose of reality, but one that's definitely necessary. You don't want to be biting off more than you can chew. That's a restaurant pun for you there, Robert. All right, I want to let you know that people are zooming in from Virginia, Maryland, Texas, California, Alaska, Missouri, North Carolina, Germany, Kansas, Hawaii, Georgia, Italy, Japan, Kentucky, Turkey, South Korea, and Colorado. How about that for a spread?
That's pretty awesome. And the only one I haven't been there, I've been to Turkey, but not to our base there. That's the only base I haven't been to, I think.
All right, we got another live question for you right now, Robert. This is coming from Natalia Manning. If you could please click your start video button for us, Natalia. All right, Natalia, welcome to the USO MVP with Chef Robert Irvine. Where are you, first of all, and what is your question?
I am at Fort Meade, Maryland. So,
I know
yeah.
I know it very well.
I'm a big fan.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
Nice.
My dad got to see you a while back, and you signed it for us. So it's actually a signed copy.
There you go.
But yeah, my question was, you mentioned that you have daughters, and that I was wondering, how did you get them to eat healthy when they were younger?
Really cool. Actually, stay there 1 second.
Robert is going to get visual aids to how to get young kids to eat healthy. Natalia, how old are your kids?
These are my girls. This one is Talia. This one's Annalise. That's my wife.
My daughter is 7 and very, very picky. You can kind of see her there.
How cute. How adorable. All right, so I can tell you, it's really simple. So she's at a great age. What is her daughter's name?
Evangeline.
Oh my God, I love that name.
We call her Evie for short. It's easier.
Okay. So you take Evie to the store and you let her pick out food, right? You let her pick out, you can say you can pick 3 vegetables, you can pick your protein, you can do it, mommy talk. I'm doing adult talk. But I used to take my girls to do the same thing. Then I would blindfold them and play a game. I would say, okay, I'd cut off a little bit of vegetable, try it raw. And if she got the vegetable taste and she said, oh, it was cauliflower, I would give 25 cents to her. And so on and so forth. It was an amazing game. Then I would cook it with her or with the girls. And then they would eat it and say, well, remember that taste when it was raw? And we made it a game. So I think it was the most they could win was like $2. It was like the world to me and to them. But I think education, my kids never wanted junk food because they wanted to try different foods all the time. And the more you get her involved in that process of looking, touching, feeling, smelling, tasting, the more she's going to open up. I can tell you, my girls, I took them to 5-star restaurants because it was free for me. And they would dine on some of, escargot and things. I would sell them as chicken, but don't tell them that for now. They're probably watching it. But the more you involve them, the more you get them in the kitchen. And this is what I say all the time. Have fun with them. Make a mess. Put stuff on a nose, like sour cream or something. The more fun they have with food, the more they will open up. And it's not only a great bonding moment for families, it's an education process. And when they get into this hanging, they'll be saying, like, Mom, when are we going to cook again? When are we going to cook again? When are we going to cook again? And I think that's really, really important because it's bonding and educational. And I did that, listen, for $50. It was the best $50. Now one is almost a criminal lawyer and one is a pediatric speech pathologist as a doctor, almost a month away. So.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your question. We appreciate you zooming in. You stay safe out there, and thank you very much for your service.
Send me some pictures on Twitter. Pictures, please. At Robert Irvine. I want to see pictures.
Okay, I will.
Great to see you.
That's so great what you do, Robert. You keep in touch with your fans. You're very open by giving them your email, and you're very communicative and interactive. So kudos to you for that. Quick follow-up question to your microwaving advice.
Yep.
Daryl McMillan wants to know, he thought that a Ziploc bag in the microwave would melt. Do you seal the bag when you're cooking that burger in there, or do you leave it open?
All you do is seal it 3/4 so air can get out. It will not melt. Plastic has to be really hot. So it's so funny, you think I'm nuts, but when I make my ribs, I don't grill my ribs. I wrap them in plastic wrap and I put them in the oven at 275 degrees for 4 hours. Plastic wrap will only melt over a certain temperature. That's why we plastic wrap bowls and stuff for the microwave, so it doesn't spit out. It will not melt.
Give it a 3/4 seal so it's got a little air in there so we can breathe.
You have to let the air out the bag so it doesn't blow up. No, it won't melt. It will blow up if you seal it too hard.
Got it. All right. Brian Henson, who I assume is in Washington, says, big fan of your restaurant here at the Pentagon. Do you ever do meet and greets while you're there?
Yes, I was just there last week. There's a table in the corner that I put there for a reason. Every time I go in the Pentagon, that's my breakfast table, and I sit there and all I do is meet and greet and treat. I don't publicize I meet and greet. I just sit there and I say hi to everybody. The Pentagon is first of all, it's a little city, right? It's this 38,000 people that go through there every day or whatever. Not at the moment because they're all working from home, but yeah, I'm always there. You'll know if you pop your head in there, ask for the manager or the chef, and they'll tell you when I'm coming in. I'm in there a lot.
Good, as I assume you would be, because it's your restaurant. You got to be hands-on.
It's not only that. It's not only that. It's just because I love to be around the hustle and bustle of the military. It's just crazy. I told you, if I wasn't in TV now, I'd probably still be back in the military if they'd let me back in. I don't know, but.
Oh, well, okay. It's interesting you say that, because here's a question from David Brady. He says, Chef, I'm an Army Reserve chaplain at Fort Bragg. What is one event in your military past that you can pinpoint to define you and your mission?
Wow. First of all, chaplain, you do amazing work, number one. I've had many trips with many chaplains of all denominations, believe it or not. Most recently was special operations guy, which is amazing. I think there's so many things that define time, but for me, I joined the military young. I remember, and I was telling somebody the other day, when I was on my first warship, I was cleaning, I was a cook to start with, and I was cleaning and I fell asleep. I was so tired, I fell asleep. And obviously the chief of the watch was like, what, all that stuff. But I think that the teaching of leadership and being part of something that's bigger than you personally, I think that was the biggest motivator for me, that you have people, or eventually I had people that relied on you to give direction, to give not only during work, but also in life. I think leadership was the biggest thing I got from the military, and taking care of people. And that happened. And I run my businesses like that now. I know about the families, the kids, all the people who work for me, or with me, I should say. I know their history. I know that people, and I got that from the military. When you're a close-knit community and you stay close and you help each other. And it's up to me to see things that are going wrong, or if something is amiss, whether they're tired, whether they're sick, whether they're, what's going on. I need to be able to see that. And I think the military give me the biggest part of that, much like being a pastor or a chaplain. You can read through, people.
That's a great explanation. And obviously you're very proud of your military past, Robert. So, in addition to thanking everybody who's zooming in, thank you for your service as well. And thank you for, giving these people the advice on how to eat healthier, because that is so important. Another question here in the Q&A section comes from Sean Stull. He says he's been in the military for over 20 years, and he has seen the changes in the food to healthier options, and that can be attributed to chefs like you. So thank you for what you do. Do you find that people are resistant to that change, to healthier eating?
Oh, yes.
As we just saw in the episode.
And it's so funny because when you say I've been in 20 years, first of all, thank you for your service. And I know it becomes repetitive, but I truly mean it. Yes, there are always, it's not so much top to bottom, it's more only the middle that fight the changes. People have been in 20, 25 years that say, well, you know, when I started, it was fine, you know, and I look at me, I turned out okay. But I think we're going through a whole different, the military has changed, the equipment's changed, the people have changed. You know, if we look at the young 19 to 23-year-old, any service you want, Marine Corps, Navy, Army, Air Force, Coast Guardsmen, they are different. We have grown up in a different era, and we have to, just like the equipment, we have to change to be able to feed that body. We're asking more today than we ever have. Longer deployments. Obviously, Afghanistan has changed and Iraq has changed, but now we have, you know, Syria, Korea, all these forward operating outposts, I would say, forward operating outposts, because, you know, they're not within our mainland. And we have to make sure that we give the food that is going to give resiliency and keep them fit to be able to do their job. And we're not talking about just food to eat. We're talking about food to live, so that when you're asked to do something, you can do it. The Army fitness test twice a year now. Why is that? Well, there's a common sense answer, the same as the police and the firefighters. Food is just not to keep us healthy. Food is to live. It changes our mood. You know, so we've got to be really smart. And it's an education of leadership all the way down. It's an education of the consumer. In other words, the private that comes from Alabama, from Cincinnati, from wherever. And remember, just like I grew up in England on eggs and bacon and fish and chips, we're brought up on certain levels of food or certain types of food, and change is very hard. So it's really an education across the board of, you know, why are we eating it? What does it do to us? And how does it make us feel? So I will see I think we will see in the next 5 to 10 years, change will be consistent or constant and consistent of food and how we use it.
Yeah, it's not just a cliche. You really are what you eat. What you put into your body is what gives your body fuel, and it is what gives your body life, like you said.
Yeah.
And
we can prove it, Chris. You know, I could put you on a diet today, or an eating plan, not a diet. I could take your blood today, and 30 days from now take a blood again, and you will be a completely different person, and you'll feel different. You'll look different. It's just an interesting food and fitness. And we've got some great dietitians. We've got some great dining facility managers. And we've got some not so good ones. You know, it just, that's the reality of the world. Some are better than others at what they do. So I hope, you know, with guidance and change that we can do an even better job of making things more flavorful, as well as better for you.
Chef, it's always such a pleasure to talk to you. You're such a great friend to the USO. Appreciate whenever you come on here, and appreciate your great advice to those questions that people gave to you on Zoom. As always, I'd like to give you a couple minutes so you can give some words of encouragement and support to the troops who are Zooming in.
Well, to all of you joining us here today, I want to say a huge thank you. You've heard me say it 1,000 times. Thank you for what you do every day. Thank you for your families. Thank you for what they do while you're deployed or they're with you. It doesn't matter. Thank you to all the men and women that actually support the DoD civilians, the USO, Navy exchanges, AFEs, commissaries, all the folks that go out every day to support what you guys do. I thank you for that, and I sincerely do. I'm hoping that I get to see all of you or some of you around the world very soon. Keep doing what you're doing. You don't know, but you wearing that uniform, the cloth of our nation, is making a huge difference. So I can sit here and do this. And I wish I was with each and every one of you in Korea, in you name it, Seattle, it doesn't matter. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Chris, thank you. Thank you, Food Network and Discovery and USO. for allowing this to come together. Jeremy Wilcox, thank you for holding my hand and producing my shows around the world. And hopefully we get back on the horse and get back to it. Right, Chris?
Absolutely. Chef Robert Irvine, host of Food Network's Restaurant Impossible. We hope you enjoyed the episode that we all viewed together. Again, Robert, thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, you can see this and every episode of the MVP series just by going to uso.org/MVP. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you for your service.
God bless you all.